Britain's explosive and disturbing report on Pakistani rape gangs. Viewers, I don't want to mince my words tonight. There are times in this profession when you read something and it just haunts you ever after. No closure when you shut the file. Not when you go home, not even when you try to sleep. And I'm a journalist, an editor, a woman, and I'm also a mother, and I need you to know the kind of anger I felt reading this report, because I'm still feeling it. As I speak to you, in more than 3.5 decades of my career in journalism, I have covered conflicts, riots, scams, crimes that have tested every ounce of my faith in humanity. But this one is different. A 219-page report by British MP Rupert Lowe has torn open one of Britain's darkest secrets. The report says 2.5 lakh girls were sexually exploited, tortured and abused over 7 decades by organized rape gangs, and the perpetrators mainly were Pakistani men. Despite the evidence that complains, the entire system chose to look away. The testimonies are blood-curdling. Cigarette was stubbed out on a baby and the mother was forced to watch. A young victim was raped by a dog while the savages bet on how the animal would brutalize her. Victims say glass bottles, keys, baseball bats and other objects were forced inside their private parts. Some girls told the inquiry panel that they were gang raped by dozens of men at the same time. Some were forced to have abortions with knitting needles. Little girls as young as 5 or 6 were tied up, tortured and abused. I mean, it's horrifying to read the details. Page after page, this report reveals a holocaust of innocence. And it's a wake-up call, not just for the UK, but for every democracy in the world, for every human being in the world. This is a lesson for politicians who live in denial, who put vote banks above victims, and for those who put political convenience above justice. Read the report if you know what reality can look like.
I sincerely urge this Parliament to listen to the testimonies from these brave survivors and to act, to finally act. I was raped by a dog. The man just held my face, stared me down straight in the eyes, and he wanted to see me break, and he did. He put a cigarette out on the baby's face. Another. It started when I was 13. I was raped by probably about 600 or 700 different men over 3 years. Comments were constantly made suggesting that white girls, the Christian girls, were viewed as having fewer morals or lower values, whereas Muslim girls were described by some of the men as having dignity and higher moral standing.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight is Christella. She's a survivor of this heinous episode, and I don't even know what to say, Christella. Christella, I mean, some people are even today in denial that anything happened in the UK. Tell me what you went through.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I am a London grooming gang survivor. And yeah, not only did I go through severe domestic violence, I also went through experiencing what it's like to be tormented by these particular people. It's harrowing. It's harrowing to have seen loads of young children, girls that I grew up with, having experienced, you know, the worst kind of trauma that young girls can experience. Yeah, it's my case is connected to somebody called Levi Belfield, who is a very well-known serial killer in the UK, and I ended up marrying one of his associates, and that's how I ended up being in this situation and fighting for justice.
And the unimaginable horror that you witnessed, young girls, you said, how young, how many, and are these grooming gangs people you know, you've seen, and does the system know about them?
So not only was I someone who experienced, even several of my friends I went to school with, girls that was younger than me, at the time they would have been 12, 13, all the way through to their preteens. And also, yes, some of my friends and associates have been victims of this particular grooming gang, and I also have experienced meeting them face to face, yes.
And what would these gangs do? How would they operate?
So primarily, I think it's all about breaking down survivors' support system, self-esteem. They enforce fear through their means of togetherness. They come in packs. The way I would describe it, it's like they hunt in packs of animals. That's the best way I can describe these perpetrators. And they have no level to where they will go to hurt their victims.
They hunt in packs, and who are these men? Any nationality that you can ascribe? Are they powerful people? Who are these people?
So predominantly, as the reports would tell you, it is Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs. However, due to the UK being so multinational, there are other cultures, including English white men who are involved. Some, from what I can tell you, has been failings of the system. And these perpetrators have taken advantage of a particular class of what they would say females in care industry, in the care homes, was a big target of theirs.
Well, the report that has come out talks about abortions being done on young women using knitting needles. Is that even possible? And how can a human being do this? Did you have the occasion of knowing anybody who went through something like this?
So I do, and have built up really good relationships with some of the other survivors, not just from my case, but other cases around the UK. And I can verify what they've written in that report. Some of the girls that I know who haven't even testimonied that they did go through some of these horrendous things.
You've previously expressed dissatisfaction with the responses of the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, and the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley, regarding the issue of these grooming gangs. Why do you think there has been the kind of reaction that we're seeing?
So I believe that for many years, girls have tried to speak up about what's been going on through several failings and, I want to say, potentially human error or cover-ups. They have not been brought to light. Sadiq Khan did state on national television that London doesn't have or appear to have a grooming gang issue. That is incorrect, and that is not true.
So why do you think, the system's not taking notice? And do you really believe the system has been protecting some of these gangs?
Absolutely, I believe that. Various reasons, from the girls' own testimonies and to the witnessing of the covers up. There's no other explanation as to why it's got to this point. It's been years of girls speaking. There's lots of connections that haven't been made and lots of answers that we need. Primarily, I think the biggest question is how was systematic abuse carried on for so long? And who are the people that have covered this up and why?
So, Christella, tell me, when you've met with other survivors, what have they told you? What have they said to you? And why is this report even now not bringing the entire issue to closure?
So I think there's several reasons that we're not getting closure. I believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg of stories that have come forward. So many survivors live in fear. They have told their stories to the police, to supporting services, and they have not been heard. They have not been acted on. There's been evidence that's been reported. Documents have disappeared, been shredded, or human error. So I feel like there's a bigger link as to how we really operate and get to the bottom of how it got to this, from perpetrators to them becoming a systematic failure on a massive scale in the UK.
Personally, Christella, how have you managed to get closure, or have you got closure yourself? What was it like for you? Just share what you can in terms of the battle that you fought outside and within your own soul.
So what I can honestly tell you is it's unexplainable, the way that you have to process what you're actually going through, because you don't even realize yourself, because you're a child, you know, you're young. Some of these girls, you know, a lot of coercive control, manipulation, isolation. And until you come out of it with the right support, it's very hard to piece together what you've actually experienced. We didn't have terminology really back then in regards to grooming gangs. It's kind of quite a new terminology that's being used to describe what's happening right now. I think for me, I don't know if justice will ever be served for some of us historical girls, but I do believe that we have to find a way to unite and fight back for the safety of women and children in the UK, because this cannot continue. We cannot ignore this. This cannot be ignored anymore. Survivors, you know, they need to be heard. People are talking on our behalf. People are making money off of our stories. This has happened with the previous situations in the past with the press. And I just feel like this is an opportunity to understand that women need to come together. We can do this, you know. We have to make a stand for children, not just in the UK, but worldwide. If all of us are not safe, then it doesn't just count for one of us being safe. And I think that's what keeps me going.
Well, I completely agree with you. More power to you, Christella. Nobody can change the past, but as soul sisters, we stand with you, with every single woman, every single young girl who's been made to put through this. And yes, in civilized world, as we call it, there is no space for such abuse. And that these survivors need closure. Clearly, I should see no reason why everybody in the world cannot stand up and ask for justice to be served. That's the least the world can do for our sisters who have been through hell. Thank you very much, Christella, for joining me on the NEWSHOUR tonight. With that, it's a wrap on the NEWSHOUR, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, be safe. I'll be back tomorrow, in fact on Monday, and I'll see you on the NEWSHOUR at night.